Dario Amodei is the CEO of Anthropic, an AI company. It's the company behind Claude, which split apart from OpenAI after wanting to emphasize AI safety, as they didn't trust the founder, Sam Altman, to do so. After watching the Musk versus Altman trials and hearing people testify to Altman's untrustworthiness, it's justifiable and even encouraging to see a company focused on AI safety now worth more than OpenAI at a nose-bleeding $965 billion valuation. But what does Dario believe in? If you're in tech like me, you've been hit with a very doomer Dario on Twitter, where you can watch clip after clip of him in conferences professing the end of white-collar jobs. Sam Altman is no better, and they've both shifted their doomer vision as they're nearing an IPO. Thankfully, we don't have to chase headlines to understand what Dario believes in, because he wrote an essay almost 2 years ago titled Machines, a Loving Grace, where he explains his stance. I've read it. I'm going to try and share the interesting bits I've noticed, and I think you'd be surprised by it. This is it. The essay I printed out, just copied it into a Word doc, removed formatting, and printed it out. If you don't count the footnotes, it's about 23 pages, but the footnotes are important. So we're going to start with the first one. The title, Machines of Loving Grace, it comes from a poem similarly titled All Watched Over by Machines of Loving Grace by Richard Rottingham. It's short and worth reading here, accompanied by no other than AI-generated visuals. I'd like to think, and sooner the better, of a cybernetic meadow where mammals and computers live together in mutually programming harmony, like pure water touching clear sky. I like to think right now, please, of a cybernetic forest filled with pines and electronics, where deer stroll peacefully past computers as if they were flowers with spinning blossoms. I like to think it has to be of a cybernetic ecology where we are free of our labors and joined back to nature, return to our mammal brothers and sisters, and all watched over by machines of loving grace. The lines that stuck out to me the most were in the last paragraph. Being free of our labor is a vision we can all maybe get behind, at least menial, mindless, backbreaking labor, the kind no one feels good about after 8 hours. I like to think a stonemason would keep honing their craft even if they didn't need to, or that I would keep writing after we return to our mammal bros. This poem sets the tone of a hopeful utopia that AI could potentially bring forth. In the intro, Dario gives some background about himself and immediately disclaiming that he's not a doomer, he just thinks it's critical to talk about the risks, and he gives 4 main reasons. 1, maximize leverage. The risks are the only thing that stands between us and a positive future. AI, the technology, and its many benefits seem almost inevitable, while the risks aren't predetermined. So stating them helps us take action against them. 2, avoiding perception of propaganda. He wants you to not think that they're just tooting their own horn and distracting you from the downsides. He writes, as a matter of principle, it's bad for your soul. 3, avoid grandiosity. He doesn't like how AI leaders talk about the post-AGI world, how they talk about bringing forth the technology akin to religious figures. 4, avoid sci-fi baggage. This one's funny. He kind of dislikes the sci-fi nerd vibe because it brings in a bunch of assumptions of how societal norms will play out and the types of desirable futures. It narrows and locks in the possibilities into the cyberpunk upload your mind realm where he thinks most people would find off-putting. Already, he's answered why he seems doomer most of the time, because he thinks it's the highest leverage action when AI as a technology seems inevitable at this point, and wants to make sure all the positive sum outcomes available do end up happening. I wish he would just say something like, read my essays if you want to see where I'm excited about AI. Dario writes, fear is one kind of motivator, but it's not enough. We need hope as well. He lays out the foundation for the rest of the essay. he's going to focus on 5 areas he thinks powerful AI will greatly improve the quality of human life. 1. Biology and physical health. 2. Neuroscience and mental health. 3. Economic development and poverty. 4. Peace and governance. 5. Work and meaning. He goes on to qualify his list and predictions by claiming they're going to be radical by most standards and that he could very well be wrong. He thinks his most tame prediction will be regarding the singularity and that the sci-fi stinky nerds need to touch grass. More on that later. He writes that he's going to attempt to ground the predictions in semi-analytical ways, as he has some professional experience in biology and neuroscience. He links his Google Scholar profile where he now has over 180k citations. Basic assumptions and framework. We got to the first header. Here's where he states the definition for powerful AI as opposed to AGI or artificial general intelligence. Think Hal from Space Odyssey or Samantha from Her. Oh wait, I'm doing the sci-fi baggage thing he mentioned. Oops. He explains he doesn't like the term AGI because of said baggage, and powerful AI conveys it better, or expert level science and engineering. He thinks it'll arrive early 2026. Oh, that's this year. When was this written? 2024. Damn, this freaking guy. He says once it arrives, this 5 to 10 year timeline starts for his predictions to come true. Let's see what he defines as powerful AI. It'll have these 6 properties. 1, Nobel Prize winning pure intelligence across fields. He defines intelligence as general problem solving with abilities like reasoning, learning, planning, and creativity, meaning it can prove unsolved mathematical theorems, write extremely good novels, write difficult code bases from scratch, etc. I think we're near there. A couple of weeks ago, OpenAI had its model disprove a central conjecture in discrete geometry, whatever that means. And I code for a living, and I know I can code up a complex code base with good prompting. Not sure it can write well yet, but it's near there. 7 out of 10. 2. It has all the interfaces available to a human working virtually. Again, I think that's here. Multimodal models are here. I can give it voice, images, and videos, and it'll take action on the internet via your browser. 9 out of 10, because not every model takes all the context or can create every format. There are still specific models for each task right now. The new Google search is multimodal. You can search by uploading files now and ask it to generate others. 3, it can be given tasks that take hours, days, or even weeks to complete. Again, mostly there. I think there was a study that the latest models can work continuously over 12 hours with a 50% success rate. And it has a doubling time of 123 days, so we'll get a day's worth of continuous work this year. 6 out of 10. 4, it does not have a physical embodiment, but it can control existing physical tools. Robots. I think we're just seeing the explosion in tech. Robotics is the next frontier now that intelligence is cheap. We've had the math solved with inverse kinematics. We just needed more context via situational awareness. 5 out of 10. I'm hoping my surgeon still controls the robotic arms for now. 5. The resources used to train the model can be repurposed to run millions of instances of it. I also think we're there. SpaceX, which owns xAI, just got into a leasing agreement with Anthropic over its supercomputer Colossus, which was used to train Grok 3 and 4. I'm not sure if we're at the millions of instances, but it's close. Is this our first 10 out of 10? Can someone correct me in the comments? 6. Each of these millions of copies can act independently on unrelated tasks, or if needed, can all work together in the same way humans would collaborate. I know in coding at least, we can spin up sub-agents that will go do independent work in parallel streams to research and gather context. Not sure what kind of task would require all million to be working towards the same goal, or if Dario even meant that, but this is near. 8 out of 10. That's 45 out of 60 in my arbitrary non-scientific rating. That's 75%, solid C in mid-2026. We're at the cusp of powerful AI, and that's spooky, exciting, and thought-provoking. What does the 5 to 10 year timeline promise us after we reach it? Let's keep reading. He summarizes these traits as country of geniuses in a data center. Clearly, something like this would bring about a change and solve difficult problems really fast. And Dario addresses two extremes in this viewpoint. One, the singularity would happen in seconds or days. It would solve every engineering and operational task in moments. Let me paint a picture that you would get a life-changing amount of money deposited in your bank account. All diseases would find a cure, and there would be a new age of abundance, maybe. Dario says, hold up. The problem with this is that there are real physical and practical limits, like building hardware or conducting biological experiments that AI would run up against, just like we do. If it figured out how to build flying cars, well, we don't have flying car factories ready to build them, nor the new materials required. 2, you might believe the real limiter is social factors and technological progress is saturated and additional intelligence adds very little. Dario just wrote that this seems implausible and he can't think of any problem that wouldn't benefit from additional intelligence. Where does this leave us? Dario lands in the middle, saying it's a blend of both, and to think through it clearly we need a new framework, the marginal returns of intelligence. Economists talk about factors of production, labor, land, and capital. At any given moment, one of these can be a bottleneck. Dario gives an example with the Air Force, which requires both planes and pilots, but hiring more pilots doesn't help if you're out of planes. With powerful intelligence, we need to account for the factors that limit or are beneficial to solving tasks. He gives us 5. 1, speed of the outside world. The world runs at the speed it does. Cells divide at their rate, and my digestive system takes hours to produce battle artifacts. No amount of intelligence will speed these processes up, so the cure for cancer won't happen overnight. If you want a 12-year whiskey, you gotta wait 12 years. 2, need for data. I love dinosaurs, and I know you do too. I stand in awe whenever I see the bones of a T-Rex reconstituted. I love the sound Gary Rydstrom concocted for the Jurassic Park movies. But that sound is a stitched up together lion, alligator, and baby elephant. The sad truth is, we'll never know how a T-Rex bellowed because the audio data decayed over 66 million years ago. No data center of geniuses will be able to give you the real sound. 3, intrinsic complexity. Some systems, like a Waffle House, are just chaotic. Weather forecasters can't reliably predict more than about 2 weeks ahead. AI might be able to buy us a few more days, maybe weeks, but it will never accurately predict weather on my birthday 2 years from now. I'll set up a tarp just in case. 4, constraints from humans. Human habits and societal structures are inefficient, like government regulation, and often have stifled the growth of technological advancements like nuclear power, supersonic flight, and elevators. 5, physical laws. There are laws of physics that we're ruled by. I wish I could fly, but I can't. You cannot travel faster than light, nor can you unscramble an egg. Once you fart in the company elevator, it's over. No one will ever go in an elevator with you. AI will work under these laws, especially in computing. The trap card of powerful AI is that it can actually help with these limiting factors. It might develop a new tool to gather more data and help us find a way around human-based constraints. Legally, of course. Over time, it routes around these factors. The key question becomes how fast and in what order. With this framework as our anchor, we'll explore the 5 areas in the next part of this video. So please subscribe and let me know what you think of the essay breakdowns, or if I missed anything. Pour one out for the stinky sci-fi nerds like myself, catching strays in this essay, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, compilers.